27 for 39 for 251 and 5 touchdowns. Joe Burrow.
Traveling on Wednesday. Today's Sunday. Get your bodies right, get your minds right. It's a big one on Thursday. If we don't score a touchdown on a drive, I'm not going to be very happy for the rest of the year. I think that's our standard. We have to play the game that way. We have to expect that out of ourselves and live up to that.
Leaves are falling on the ground, but the cleats protect our feet. Thanks to Burrow and Chase Brown, we got a late Halloween treat. We beat a football team at home, but our QB says that that's no feat. And Quicksman's blood and Raven sweat, he'll be ready to play. Sometimes he gets so tired, but you know Joe Burrow, he always just got one thing on his mind, and that one thing is that he knows we have to. Bang on! And now the time to step it up to sing the day. Tonight we're gonna see some things on our way to the nasty home of the Krabby Cake. Bang on! Gonna share our work in the AFC.
Welcome to the number one Bengals podcast. I'm your host, Elio MacDuke. I'm joined as always by Dr. Hoji the Electric Smudgy and
Hello.
John Double Brain.
Sheeran.
And here we go. It's
Where
the
does he
number
keep
one
his
Bengals
second
podcast.
brain? The world might never know.
Is Robert
right.
Plant like an insult to veganism, Hoji? Like, is his name is Plant and he profits off of that, or?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. I never thought of that.
Yeah.
You know what else is an insult to veganism? All these people being mad about Peanut the squirrel. I am mad too. But like if you eat animals and you're really angry about a squirrel, which I'm angry about too, why do you eat all the other animals?
Well, I mean, here's the other thing: is why did the squirrel name himself after a peanut, which he
food.
eats, right? So I mean, the insult is
acorns.
just rounded around. Yeah.
Well, they did not eat the squirrel.
So-
Well, go ahead, yeah.
Not an elephant.
Yeah. Here's the thing, guys. The Cincinnati Bengals pulled off a blockbuster trade.
Oh, yeah.
Right before this show.
Oh, blockbuster trade. I thought you were talking about the win. Okay.
Well,
the
no, right
trade was
before the
not
show,
so much
yeah.
of a blockbuster. It was a pretty standard. We don't have
No,
we had a-
blockbuster in the sense that his value was similar to the stock of Blockbuster, right?
Oh, okay. Oh, touche.
Yeah.
Touche.
And so we have him, and we also have a win, and the Cincinnati Bengals
At
have a big
home,
game,
first one.
first one ever, and we have a big game against the Baltimore Ravens. That if they win, John, they will be what, one game behind the Ravens, I think.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, which is big because
Yeah.
we know the Steelers. Come
It's
on,
not small.
can the Steelers keep it up? I don't know. I think
I
the
think
Bengals
they can.
maybe.
Yeah.
I feel like they have.
They
to.
just made some really
They
aggressive moves
did.
before
They
the trade
did.
deadline.
I mean, it's so impressive, John.
well,
the Steelers-
they're a real franchise. I mean, they really care
Well,
about
they
winning.
were stuck in that QB purgatory for so long. They never got a top pick, and they're like, "Hey, here's what we're gonna do. We're going to get the young guy with big upside, who's still very young, has all the great physical stuff, and then we're gonna get a veteran who also has high upside in a different way because he used to play at such a high level. If we can just get him close to that on our team, we'll be good." And they figured out the QB. Who does that in 2024, John? Who comes out and figures out a QB problem that cheap? It's crazy.
We'll see if Russ can keep it up, but he's looking good so far. I don't know if Mike Williams, trading for a 30-year-old Mike Williams is like a great move, but, you know,
Yeah.
it's something.
Well, 30 is not that old, John, but he has
pretty
declined
old.
recently.
Yeah.
I don't know,
For-
John.
for
You're almost
NFL.
30 now.
I
Well,
know.
he
I'm
doesn't-
getting old.
He's not a professional athlete either. I mean,
Well,
the bloom of youth for most professional athletes is mid-20s.
I don't. It depends on the position, but yeah, I mean, they're it's
I
getting.
mean,
a little
unless you're talking
there.
about golf or something.
Well, okay. Here's the thing.
Okay, but here's another question.
Yeah.
Great job. Thank you for getting us a running back. We really needed one. Thank you to the powers that be. Grateful. why didn't you fix the defense? There's so many needs. Why can't the Bengals just be a little more aggressive, make that trade, do that work? The deadline has passed and you did nothing. Why?
Well, John, I don't know if it was you or someone else on Twitter was saying these cornerbacks that are available, they're not like really an upgrade from DJ Turner or Cam Taylor-Britt, who has looked a little better in recent weeks. I mean, it's not, right, John? Like, it's not like we could get a cornerback that's going to fix the secondary.
I'd say Marshawn Lattimore would have been the closest, but that price I think was a little bit too steep. It's tough when, like, I mean, the players who are available at the trade deadline very rarely are available for like good reasons. I think typically it's like from teams that are struggling and they're trying to get draft capital. So yeah, like the Marshawn Lattimores of the world, they can become available and they can really help your team. That's why, you know, of course the Chiefs were interested, but ended up being the Commanders. But yeah, I agree. Like there were a handful of defensive linemen who ended up not getting traded today, which I thought was surprising. Like Jadeveon Clowney, Calais Campbell, Chase Young, Arden Key, Sebastian Joseph Day. Like all those guys, I think definitely could have helped the Bengals, and none of them got dealt. So I don't know if that was just a case of those teams being really stingy with their prices because no one else really bid it. But like if the Bengals were willing to give up a 7th round pick for, I don't even know if he said his name, Khalil Herbert,
there you go.
That's of the Chicago Bears.
Hard one to remember. Yeah.
If they were really willing to give up a 7th for him, like a future 6th or maybe like a future 5th, because that's the equivalent of a 6th this year, I would have thought that would have been in the cards for one of those defensive linemen, especially for teams that would have been desperate to give him away. But I guess the desperation wasn't enough on either side.
John, but would they? They wouldn't give those guys that we wanted away for a 6th or a 7th, would they?
Why not?
I mean, they're talented guys. Chase Young,
I mean, Preston Smith, who went to the Steelers for a 7th round pick, and he's had a decent year for being almost 32.
It's different.
Why is it different?
Well, the Steelers get what they want. We know that.
That's not always true, but
well, I don't know. I feel like
Cincinnati Bengals have been a better team than the Steelers for the past like 4 years. Okay,
doesn't matter.
No, it does matter. It does matter
Hold
because because here's the thing: a good team like the Bengals, a good roster like the Bengals, a few simple moves makes a world of difference.
Okay.
So when
I'm
you
not talking
when you
about
I know, but
players
when Duke Tobin or whatever that guy's name is, Drake Tobin or whatever his name. When you let that deadline pass and you don't get us an edge rusher, you don't get us anything, you just get us a cheap.
Let me explain.
Former Bears.
It's not about the players. We're not talking about the players' best interests.
No.
We're talking about
the team.
Yeah. Would you want to be on the phone with Mike Brown and Duke Tobin trying to bargain with those guys? It would ruin your day. It would get so much energy. I can understand.
You remember when you used to buy you cars? When you used to take me to buy a car?
Exactly.
This man is a real hard bargain driver, John.
And so what I'm saying is teams don't like trading with the Bengals. Yeah. They just don't. And there's
No, it's true. I think like because a 7th round pick for a running back that was a healthy scratch for the past 2 weeks,
exactly,
it's essentially giving him up, right? So there's levels to this. There's the recognition that I don't know if there's ever been a time in Bengals history where they've given up a future draft pick for a player who's a known commodity, and that was it. Like, it's just straight up a pick for a player. It's always been like player swaps, it's been pick swaps, whatever the case may have been. There's been something where the Bengals aren't just giving up part of their future, whether it be a 7th round pick or whatever the case may be. So there's progress in that sense, but there's practically no negotiation involved if it's just a 7th round pick, again, for a player who is clearly not in the plans for a team who's struggling. Now, when you get to the point where you have teams who are trying to up the price and they're trying to just, gouge you as much as they can, and because they don't want to lose out on the value, that's, I think, where the Bengals definitely fall short, and that's where they continue to fall short, and that's where the progress needs to continue heading in that direction. But I guess it's always just pulling teeth with them, so you just take any progress that you can get.
Yeah.
But here's my take on all this.
Sure.
And it's going back to what we saw in the intro, which is I think if one person can change this culture of cheapness and frugality on the team, it's Joe Burrow. Yeah. And the way he does that is by being a little bit more of a prima donna, giving us a little bit more of that grouchy face.
Yes.
He can really change things. He's got their ear.
Because
Zach ain't going to do it. I like Zach, but Zach ain't going to do it.
Zach plays by the rules. But look, Joe Burrow, he came out, he said, Jermaine Burton needs to be on the field. Basically, John, he said that. And so they're like, okay, hey, let's put together a game plan for Jermaine Burton. And they put together all this stuff for him, right? And then Burton, fell asleep, and then he was at the slot machines, and he was in the fountain, I guess. So it was supposedly of Caesar's Palace. He was all over the place. He's just relaxing, enjoying himself, according to reports. And so he was a healthy as scratch. And Joe Burrow was not happy. John, you saw the faces he made at him. Very scary faces.
I used to compare. I was the first on Twitter to compare Joe Burrow to Macaulay Culkin. People don't know that. I started that trend many years ago. But now, actually, I back down from that. He is no longer Macaulay Culkin. He has become Anakin Skywalker. He's got that jaded, I'm talking about the Revenge of the Sith Anakin Skywalker. He's got that. He's about to go to the dark side. And I love it.
I love it.
I love it.
He's definitely that evil kid from Toy Story, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, but I'm into it, man. I really like it.
Well,
he's going from a QB to a Q alpha.
I was talking to somebody at our local library, actually. And that's where I get most of my research for the show.
Because it's free.
Because it's free. And he was saying, he's like, I'm worried that Joe Burrow is going to be the next Aaron Rodgers with the way he's going.
I worry about that too. Yeah.
I don't see it. I really
or
don't
Andrew
see
Luck,
it.
even worse.
You know
Andrew
why I
Luck.
don't see it? I don't see it.
Why?
His personality is way more like a Kobe than an Aaron Rodgers. Because Aaron Rodgers, it's about him. Joe Burrow is like really crazy about winning. He really wants to win. I mean, you know what I mean? And he expects so much from his teammates, and he's finally had enough. And he's finally going to
Now here's the question from a sports analytical position.
Oh, sure. I can answer that. Yeah.
Is he a guy who just wants to win? Or is he a Kobe Bryant type where his performance and what he has done really matters? And here's why I asked that. We had a win last week against the Raiders. He was not happy.
Well, because
if winning is all that
matters.
matters.
Let's talk about that. Because there was a point where it was 31-10 or something, and then all of a sudden it's 31-17, and then we let them hang around. It got dangerous.
Well, no, it didn't just get dangerous. There was a horrible play called, and it wasn't Burrow's fault, and it ended up being an interception. If you look at that play, there was someone who was supposed to block who was not blocking or something like that, and then it leads this guy to get in the way of Joe Burrow's throw, and that leads to this interception, which leads to a score. Well, you tell me, John.
Go ahead.
What happened, John?
Yeah, John.
No, it was Yoshi who didn't block down, and he let the guy go inside. And then it was just really good film study by him because they've been spamming those screens to Jamar Chase, and they ran it one too many times.
Yeah, but John.
So it was a bad call.
It was a terrible call.
So who do we blame? Who do we blame? Do we blame?
I don't
think we blame. No.
And Dan Pitcher. They're the ones
Dan
who
Pitcher,
designing.
because he has delegated.
Well, hold on.
That to Dan Pitcher.
Well, hold on. He's delegated what? He's calling the plays. Dan
Pitcher is calling plays.
No, he's not. If Dan Pitcher designed the play, Zach Taylor's responsible for it being called in that moment still. But let me just say this, John. Joe Burrow, I think Joe Goodberry was saying on Twitter that Joe Burrow was upset from that play where the running back, I think, blew where he let the guy. That's where he was really upset. It was after a touchdown that he got really upset.
It was a culmination of miscues in that second half. And, the guy literally quoted Kobe Bryant. I don't think that was an accident. He said, what is there to be happy about?
There you go.
It was a win, but I think you could tell that if the Raiders had any semblance of competency, it would have been a lot closer, and maybe the Bengals would have actually been in trouble. And you're facing the Ravens on short week, and they're one of the best teams in the NFL, and you're going at their place. You're going to need to play better to beat them, and I think that was kind of the mindset. Exactly.
Who do we blame for those miscues, John? Who's primarily to blame?
Look.
No. Don't look. I want to know who to blame.
Okay. Sometimes the players don't play well.
Exactly.
No.
It's the players.
No.
But it's the coach putting them in that position too.
No.
John.
It's the offensive coordinator.
John, can I ask you something? I've asked you this before.
Go ahead.
Well, it's not the offensive coordinator because
I think it is.
He doesn't call the plays. He's not a normal offensive coordinator.
The team did not look like this.
It's a glorified QB coach.
The team didn't look like this until Pitcher took over.
No. The offense is way better than it was any time under
Disagree.
Zach Taylor.
Disagree.
John,
we didn't make
I
so
mean,
many stupid
it's
mistakes.
objectively.
You remember that 4th and
John,
1 last time?
That's Zach
We
Taylor
didn't-
calling the play.
We didn't make stupid mistakes like that last year.
Oh yeah, Hoji's getting you now. I can see it.
We didn't.
John.
These stupid mistakes are a new thing ever since we lost Brian Callahan.
Oh my goodness. John,
I'm
can
telling
you please
listen,
can you
every game I would watch, they would go to the booth and Brian Callahan was up there. Hey, buddy, you doing good?
They
Yeah,
all do
good job.
that.
And then they would come and the plays would look great.
John, I'm
then
gonna need
you
an
lose Brian
intervention
Callahan.
here. I'm gonna need you to intervene, please.
I just don't understand where this is coming from. Like, why go against pitcher now after they scored 41 points? Now, granted, again, a lot of mistakes, but it was the Raiders, so it didn't really matter.
Well, John, but let's look at the mistakes. We're talking about
We're trying to know who to blame.
We're talking about a backup running back. We're talking about Yoshi, second-year player, didn't play that much his rookie year. We're talking about people who shouldn't be in those positions.
Well,
I
who
mean,
is you
that's
going
the
to put?
thing.
T. Higgins is hurt. Who are you going to put?
Why are we in this position where we don't have a good veteran receiver as a third or
Well, that's
fourth
not
option?
Zach. That's Drake Tobin.
Come on, the Bengals. Look, they haven't drafted well. They haven't stacked the roster with good, depth, right?
Who are you
I mean,
blaming
it's-
for that? Because the general manager is not Zach Taylor.
No. I'm not blaming Zach Taylor.
Okay.
But, John, I have a question for you I've asked before. Yeah.
See,
why don't-
always he comes down from the ceiling and then he says smart things. Ceiling cat. What about Duke Tobin not drafting a running back? Thank you. Go back in your
I
go back
thought
in
we
your
did
ceiling.
the blame game last week, and it all funneled up to the owners. I don't know why. Did something change in the last week?
I think
that-
it's
Well,
owners.
I felt
It's
like
just
we
the
hadn't
owners.
thrown Dan Pitcher under the bus yet, and I kind of needed to do that.
It was his turn, yeah.
It was his turn. He's the human sacrifice. He is the scapegoat
But,
for
John,
the week.
I don't understand why the fullback position is so taboo now. Get a big guy in there.
Big guy.
If we can't find a running back who can block, let's get a blocker who can, qualify.
You
as a running
remember?
back.
It was the Eagles. Every time they need 1 yard, they just push it forward. Why can't we do
Hold
that?
on, I want to get John's answer.
John.
So last year, that's what Drew Sample did. Like, they didn't
Right.
have a running back that they could trust in pass protection, which is why they signed Zach Moss in the first place, or one of the
Right.
reasons. I think it's going to be Drew Sample again now, as Eric Gall is no longer available. He was their H-back. He was their do-it-all tight end. Drew Sample can't emulate what Eric Gall was starting to do in the passing game, but he's still a capable blocker, and he can be in the backfield, and he can block downhill, or he can be in pass protection. And that's probably what he's going to have to do, because I think Herbert is better than Chase Brown in pass protection. I don't know how much that they would trust him out of the gate when they already have Drew Sample comfortable in those packages. So that could be what they do, and I think that's what the answer is going to be in terms of replacing those plays that all was thriving in the playbook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. I
like
think
it.
Sample is look, that's why we drafted him.
Yeah.
And I think
was a
he's
good draft.
Second round.
second round.
Yeah.
But he is a blocker. He is a blocker.
He
There's
is a
no
block.
doubt.
He blocks.
And he caught a touchdown last week. So why not? Give him more
Give the
snaps. I'm
sample.
all for that.
Yeah.
All right. So
In fairness, though, like the Bengals' running game was phenomenal last week, and that was one of the biggest differences as to why they were successful on offense. They were running the ball between the 20s, and then once they got inside the 20, you let Burrow take over and create these off-script plays for touchdowns, one including to Drew Sample. I don't know if you're going to be able to do that every week, but they were able to run out of shotgun and out of empty and gain movement at the line of scrimmage with their interior offense line against a decent defense against the run. Like the Raiders aren't terrible in that regard, but I'm interested to see how that progresses now that it's going to be Chase Brown's backfield moving forward.
well, look,
I just feel like every
Yeah.
Bengals game I watch, it's the same thing. There's like a 3rd and 1 or a 4th and 1, and they decide to pass it instead of just punching it up the middle like you would normally expect. And I kind of wish they would do more of that.
Well, did you notice the first 4th down of the game, you had Joe Burrow actually looking
Yeah,
downfield and
yeah.
like buying time and
I
like
love
processing
that.
things, and it worked. So.
Tanner Hudson. Yeah,
Yeah.
it worked. Yeah.
It works sometimes.
Here's the thing.
But will it work against the Ravens?
well, I want to talk about that. But right
They,
now,
what are they called? They call them
look.
the butt birds? Why would you
Yes.
call someone that? That's so rude.
Who would do that?
To insult a beautiful... you know
Not-
how intelligent
no.
ravens are?
Well,
you can't
I don't
call it
think
a butt bird.
Well, butts are in, by the way.
That's true.
In 2024 is a different connotation. But
Year of
John,
the butt. Okay.
Here's the thing, John. We are on a one-game winning streak at home.
Yeah.
We've won 3 of our last 4. Yeah. And we know that's going to end soon. So it is time for us to celebrate. And what better way of celebrating the Cincinnati Bengals
Roll it.
than spending your hard-earned cash on the team, and I'm talking about not $1, not $2, not $5, hundreds of dollars. Look, you can spend
Like $670.
$70, and you can get a discount when you go to greengridiron.com and use code Bengals1. You will get a discount.
And
But
look at the selection.
yeah,
There's
maybe
orange,
you're like-
there's black.
yeah, maybe
there's
they're out
white.
of the $700 one. Look, $35. You get the little one there, and guess what? For your cheap nephew, it's perfect. $35, the nephews love it. They don't want to spend more than that, John.
No.
And here's the other
Did you
thing.
tell them about the warning label? Because a lot of
We're
people
not
don't
there
have
yet.
money.
We
Okay.
haven't even
Okay.
gotten to the warning label. We haven't even gotten to the warning label. But look, maybe you have a cat. I don't know if that's fitting.
Or a pencil. Maybe you have a pencil.
And you want to. And you want your pencil to be protected. Because look, with this inflation, what they call Bidenomics, I think
They don't call it that. Now be careful.
Well, you need
Tonight,
to protect your property.
especially, you're going to have to cover equally any
That's the
side.
Second Amendment is protecting your property. Now look at this, John. You have here, you can just get the warning label. Just the warning label, $1.50, which is about what most of our viewers can afford.
But then
Go
you could
to-
feel like you really have a expensive item because it has a warning label on it.
Yeah, you can put it on all sorts of things. Like, oh, I better not touch that. Look,
Like you remember when you put the Mercedes emblem on your Toyota, your Toyota car? Yeah.
yeah. And here's the thing. It is greengridiron.com code Bengals1, John. That's all I wanted to say about that. That's all I was trying to tell you. And I'm glad that
What
you
a great
didn't
way to
interrupt.
celebrate our one home win than to go and just put down $670 on a helmet.
Yes. And okay, so I think, John, before we get to the predictions, there's actually, I don't know if you know, but tonight's a very big night.
Big
night.
big one.
Big one. People have to decide.
The night is big.
Are they going to watch this podcast or a good Bengals podcast? And that is the decision, as they call
It's
it.
decision 2024. Are you
But
going to
there's
watch?
a lot of rumors swirling around, John, about different people in the NFL.
Right.
And so Dr. Hoji, Victoria couldn't be here,
No.
obviously. She had, I'm not sure what she had.
She's settling one of your lawsuits.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
And so she can't be here, but we do have Dr. Hoji. And so this is a new segment, and you're going to really like it. Here we go.
Yeah. Blowing up my feed. Did you hear the latest? It's the greatest rumor. It is Hoji's and Victoria's gossip grill. John,
There we go, John.
did you hear the latest gossip?
No, that's why I'm here.
Okay, Bill Belichick, I heard, and I saw a picture.
Oh God.
It's like the movie Splash. He brought a woman out of the sea and married her. And she is 60 years younger than he is.
Which I think matches the plot of Little Mermaid, because I think Ariel is like 14 in that movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Ursula is like, God knows.
They did not marry. Ursula did not marry Ariel. You guys need to pay attention. But, John, here's the thing. I'm
There's
not
more.
exactly... Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, please.
No, you're not exactly what?
Well, I'm not exactly... John, what is the whole situation with Bill Belichick? Is this...
Do you
is
have a
this real?
picture of him fishing out this woman and marrying her out of
John,
the sea?
if you have...
That
I'll tell you
man
what
can
this
do anything he wants.
I'll tell you what the situation is.
Yeah,
Bill
John.
Belichick is bored out of his mind, and he's in love with someone who's in love with his money. Meanwhile, my boy Tom Brady is playing Marvin's Room in his mansion as his ex is announcing a pregnancy with her karate teacher or whatever. And I don't know if this changes the Brady GOAT conversation, but his adversary / coach is currently smiling from cheek to cheek, and my boy Tom is crying in a puddle of tears. So
And I can tell you feel the pain. Maybe you, like me, and
I've
like
always
Tom,
been a Tom Brady hater, and this is actually making me feel bad for him.
Yeah, maybe you've also had an ex
Well-
get pregnant by a judo instructor, like many of us have. It's painful
Yeah.
because then you know the child will come beat you up with judo. But here's the thing: Belichick seems happy. I agree, and I'm happy. Belichick's happy. Any chance we get him, he's gonna go to another, team and be coach. I mean, or no?
I think here's the thing. I feel like Bill Belichick is going to have an extra bounce in his step. He's going to feel a little bit more vigorous,
Uh-oh.
John. He's going to feel a little more virile. He's going to reverse his aging, John. I think he will be back.
I hope so.
Because he has
Benjamin
he has
Belichick.
someone who truly loves him, as you could tell from those pictures.
And talk about
touching.
truly loves, another bit of gossip is what's happening to the Chiefs and the political scene. Turns out that Mahomes' mother is really mugged out. And she loves Donald Trump. But then Taylor Swift, who's basically like owning the team in a way, is unhappy about that. And so you have this tension between Mahomes' mother and Mahomes' wife, who are the MAGA people, and on the other hand, Taylor Swift, who's a Democrat.
Yeah,
crazy.
It's crazy because on our show we all agree on politics, and it's very easy to convince other people when it is so clear. And I'm not sure why Patrick Mahomes is being so stubborn. I'm worried he's going to be the next Aaron Rodgers, honestly.
Why are you worried about that?
I'm just saying,
He
he's going to turn his
so
back
good.
on his family.
I watched Mahomes. I really think Mahomes might be the greatest quarterback in NFL history. I watched that guy play. Was it last night or the night before? It was not. I think
He's
it was
had one good game the whole
No. I watched that man throw into triple coverage, and the ball, literally like a UFO, landed exactly where it was supposed to go, and they scored the touchdown. I have never seen someone play at that level.
John.
Well, the reason why I didn't like Brady for a long time is because he did exactly what Mahomes is doing now. He's just winning without playing traditionally well. Now, granted, the Chiefs' offense in terms of personnel has been battered, and for a long time, the Patriots, aside from those years of Randy Moss, they didn't have like a dominant receiver or anything, and Brady was able to make it work or whatever. But like the offense that Brady was running at times, and the fact that he was getting so much credit for it, where he was just dumping passes off and just spamming mesh all the time, it annoyed me because like there were clearly other more talented quarterbacks that were trying to do more and whatever. And Mahomes is just winning, and the Chiefs are winning despite him playing at the level that we're used to seeing. So now he's almost transforming into a more modern version of Brady, which is kind of making me hate him a little bit more.
Yeah. Wait. So just to clarify, are you saying that Mahomes' transformation is turning him into something better than he was, or worse?
Well, in terms of winning, he's better. In terms of stats,
But it's sort of play style and what you're seeing. Are
yeah,
you not seeing what I'm seeing, John?
I mean, he's still the
that
best
was his-
quarterback in the league.
Well,
Like,
John,
there's no
hold on.
doubt.
He looks
Hold on.
amazing.
John, can we clarify something for Hoji, who only saw one game of Mahomes?
Well,
this
I didn't
year?
even see the whole game.
Yeah, and that was the only time where he looked like old Mahomes, I think, right, John? I didn't see the game either. Just what he's saying, it sounds like it.
He almost tore his Achilles.
Poor
There
guy.
you go. Okay,
I think he's great.
of course he's great. He is greatly behind.
I think he's
Joe
the bee's
Burrow.
knees.
He's greatly behind Joe Burrow in the QB rankings, but he's still, a quarterback with a lot of great family members. We know that about him.
Oh my God.
Okay, John, here's the thing.
Tell me.
Big game.
Big one.
Game.
Big one.
We say that every week, but it's
The
true.
Ravens.
It's true. It is true.
The
And
butt
this one-
dogs. Why
here's
would you
the
call
thing.
him a butt dog? What does that even mean?
People are saying.
What is a butt dog? It's a raven. It's a black bird that's intelligent. And you call it a butt dog?
Here's the thing. I mean, what is a hot dog? They're made of the same stuff. John, look, here's the thing. This is big because the Bengals have a chance to get back into it, right? But we're talking about Lamar Jackson playing as well as he ever has, and Derrick Henry playing as well as he ever has, right? The defense is not great, but John, how do they have a chance against this Ravens team on Thursday Night Football in Baltimore on a short week? Go.
Get lucky.
Get
I don't
lucky.
like this.
Wait,
team
they were
had
just
T-
in Las Vegas, John. I don't think they get
No,
lucky.
they weren't.
No. Las Vegas
He
was
was
in
in
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
Oh, so why was Jermaine Burton at the slots? He went all the way to Las
There's
Vegas.
a casino in Cincinnati.
He's just gambling in Cincinnati
I
because
see.
he's used to doing it in Las Vegas.
See, this is the stuff we should talk about on the show. Where is the game being played? Okay, go.
The game
John.
is being played in Baltimore, Maryland.
There you go.
There you go. John.
I would love to see the Bengals put up 38 points again against the Ravens. I don't know how they're going to do that without T. Higgins against a better defense than they faced last week. Jermaine Burton playing in this game may help with that as someone who can take some pressure off the receiving core in general and just opened up the secondary a little bit more just because he's got that explosion to his game. I think the run game found some progress, though, and you're not going to give the ball to Chase Brown 27 times like he did last week. Khalil Herbert's going to get some looks here and there. Maybe you see some more Travion Williams just to ease him in or whatever the case may be. But you made progress against the run. I would like to see that being built upon in this game because you don't want Burrow dropping back 50 times to try to pass against that Ravens pass rush and pass against the Ravens team that looks a little bit better than the last time that they played him. So you're going to have to just try to get lucky and score as many points as possible, and that's typically how you win games.
Okay, so normally games are just luck. So why do we, John? Why do you do so much analysis and you're doing the reading and
luck is a part
tweets
of it. Yeah, quiet. Don't give away the secret of his success.
Okay,
He's been lucky.
That was very intimidating somehow. Okay, so here's the thing, Dr. Hoji.
Yeah.
Go. Yeah.
I think the dog boobs, why do they call them that? It's a bird. It's an intelligent bird. Why would you call it a dog boob? What is a dog boob? Anyways, whatever they are, I think that they're a great team. I tweeted that in a direct message to John Sheeran that my favorite QBs in order are number 1, Joe Burrow, number 2, Lamar Jackson,
Right.
and number 3, I moved Derek Carr out. He's number 4 now. Number 3 is that guy from the Commanders.
Of course. Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels. He's my new number 3. And anyways, why do I think Lamar Jackson is so great? Because the man can do it all. And he opens up the field. He makes the running game better than it is. And he's actually a really good passer, too. And I think this is going to be a really tough game for the Cincinnati Bengals. I do think they can win, only because of the fire that I see in Joe Burrow's eyes. That fire, that Sagittarius fire within him is really dangerous. And I do think that they can win, but if they do, it's going to be a close one. I think it's going to be one of those overtime scenarios. And I do think the Bengals will ultimately pull out a win. I hope. That's my horoscope.
Okay. Well, great points by both of you. And I got to say, Zach Taylor, John, didn't call a great game, even though they won. They put up a lot of points. And I think Joe Burrow knows that. There were a lot of mistakes. They won't
the culture is really falling apart on that team, which because they've been together too long. It's like a band. When you're together too long, it just stops working.
Or, Oji, in your case, marriage.
Marriage,
right?
yeah.
So here's
2
the
weeks,
thing.
done.
So here's the thing. What I'm saying is that Zach Taylor has been, getting beat. And we know, John, the Harbaugh that's in Baltimore, I'm going to take a wild guess and say it's John Harbaugh. Did I get that right this time? There you go. John
Just read
Harbaugh.
my name.
Okay, there we go. John. He's
smart.
He is like mocking Zach Taylor sometimes, right? With how much of a smarter, better coach he is, out coaching him. And so for all of these reasons, Derrick Henry, come on, our run defense is terrible, right? I think Lamar Jackson historically has been great against us, let alone now that we have a terrible defense, right? All of these reasons.
We almost beat them last time.
Right. But still, this is in Baltimore, and this is a short week. Zach Taylor, he probably hasn't even, digested what just happened from the last game. And now it's like, make a game plan for the,
Wait a minute. Sorry. Is Baltimore turf or grass?
Grass.
Joe Burrow always plays better on grass. Joe Burrow always plays better on grass, just so you know.
Okay.
As a QB coach, I tell you that.
Well,
that's why he doesn't play good at home. He doesn't play good on turf. Go ahead.
He also lost a wrist on grass. So there's that, John. So all of those reasons, my prediction is that the Bengals and Zach Taylor are going to get cooked.
Yeah, same. Football. I think it's going to be a 2-touchdown loss for the Bengals, but go ahead.
Yeah, I think they're going to get cooked.
Man.
Absolutely cooked.
Man.
Final score, 38-34, Cincinnati.
What?
Oh,
That's
so
my
we're not on the
prediction,
same
yeah.
page.
No.
Never mind.
No, we're not.
What? You
That's
think the
my
Boob
prediction.
Rats are going to win?
I think the Bengals will.
Oh, the Bengals are going to win.
Why
Okay.
do they call them the crap birds again?
I never understood that. So wait, hold on. You said the Bengals are going to get cooked,
Right.
but then you said well, tell me, explain what I didn't understand. I'm so confused.
Okay. So let us say you're Zach Taylor. Just get into the mind of Zach Taylor. And you acknowledge that, hey, look, I don't know much about strategy. I don't know much about, victories,
Don't know much about strategy.
Yeah.
Don't know much about victory.
I don't know how to write a good playbook.
Don't know how to have the good playbook.
I don't know how to let Joe Burrow cook.
I don't know how to let your Burrow cook. But I do know
That I am Zach.
that I am Zach.
And my QB has got my back.
And that my QB Joe Burrow has got my back. What a
What
wonderful...
a wonderful world it is for me.
Yeah.
And so that is what Zach Taylor is going to be singing. He's going to be so happy. And when he sees that despite all these problems, he can still win the game. He's going to be singing after Joe Burrow has a huge game on the road and saves him. And it's going to be a wonderful world for him. And that is what we call getting cooked.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Can you repeat that? There's some kind of like interference.
Yeah.
I don't, it's like it sounds like, honestly, sounds like someone spying on us. Have you guys checked your phones or your lights around you that see in the room if you're being taped? Because do you hear that?
No. John?
I don't know, but a Russian area code has been calling me all day. So
There you go. So just, if you could repeat how is that cooked? I don't understand. How is that cooked?
Well,
I think
you
we
just...
understood.
John, did you get it?
Yeah.
Yeah, John gets it. Maybe you want to explain it. So
What's understood doesn't have to be explained. Jamar Chase said that.
there you go. So
Wow.
that
We should have a
song,
book of
"What
his
a
quotes.
Wonderful World," it would be.
I remember singing it.
Yeah, it's by
It was like a
Sam
minute ago.
Cooke. It's by Sam Cooke. And so you call that getting cooked. I don't know why it takes
Okay.
me like 2 minutes.
Jeez.
Everybody else, they just gives their prediction and they're like, oh, I get it. With me, every single time, I have to explain.
Well, it's because you do that kind of like that
No.
double speak. I think it's called.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
And speaking of double speak, John, I want to again promote our show.
I
This
thought you were
time-
going to promote the helmets again. I was going to
No.
quit.
But John, look, here's our Patreon, and the song that Dr. Hoji just sang, Bengal on, and all of our songs, they're on our Patreon. You can go there, and it is patreon.com/dhsports, as you can see, and you can go Patreon, and all of these songs are free when you become a paid member on Patreon. And of course, our
Now,
reigning...
because the kids
Yeah.
at home, they're kind of slow. They've had their heads in the phone all day. They might not.
Of course.
Just to clarify, completely free, as
Completely-
long as you pay. What is that? Monthly?
You pay, yes, monthly.
Yeah. So
And-
you have to pay every month. It's not just like a
Every
one-time thing either.
No.
No.
No,
You pay every
monthly,
month.
Yeah, and you're locked in. When you it's very hard to cancel.
Yeah.
So-
And
but
then
what that means is it's also very hard to miss our new songs when you are paying.
more free for you.
Right. There you
More
go.
free stuff coming
go.
your way. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is kind of where we are with that.
Great. And why
But
don't
I
we
wanna
tell them what
say-
to put in the YouTube comments?
Well, hold on. But
Yeah.
before we get to the YouTube comments,
Okay.
I want to say for the third straight week, our
Third
patron
straight.
of the week is Joseph CTD. Joseph CTD is our patron of the week. 3 times in a row, he is tied with Justin.
I think he's Patreon of the month at this rate.
Right. And so until we have
love
a
you
new
guys.
patron. By the way, has anybody noticed that the fool is not in the comments? I really miss that guy and his money. Every show he's giving a
Yeah.
big donation. I haven't seen him in the
Where's
chats.
Brian in
I
Iowa?
hope
It's
he's
a big
okay.
night for him.
Yeah. So that is that, John. And Dr. Hoji in the comments. Yeah. What do you want to put in the comments?
Oh, yeah. YouTube comments, guys.
Right.
What should they put? I would suggest, who do you think Joe Burrow was angry with?
Yeah.
I think it was Dan
Jermaine
Mitchell.
Burton. Yeah. Okay. So
Dan Pitcher.
I don't think so. No. But okay, so finally I want to say, look, if you are watching this show, that's great. Watch the show. But
Watch it.
There's so much in the show. It's like it just flies by, all the information. So also go to iTunes or wherever you get your podcast and subscribe to Number One Bengals podcast. Look at that. We have a podcast. That's why we call it this. Only 36 ratings. But if you go there and you leave a 5-star rating and you join our Patreon, guess what?
Yeah.
You get the free songs.
Wow.
That's what happens.
Wow.
There you go. John, that's all I got.
It's raining opportunities.
Oh, that's all you
Hallelujah.
got?
Oh, did you want me? Do you want to do the helmets again? Okay. So,
Quality
don't
helmets.
forget more helmets. Don't
No.
forget to subscribe to the Number One Bengals podcast and John at A to Z and Patreon and get your helmets. Do all of these things and you will get the songs for free when you do all of those. Okay. So that's all we have. We will see you next time. So long, Sweetie. Bye.